JP.
Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to another live stream where we're going to be responding to a load of crying football fans. Yes. One thing that I've learned throughout the duration of this whole VAR Liverpool thing is people, primarily football fans, but people in general, they love to do straw man arguments. Now, for those who don't know what a straw man argument is, it is where I make a claim and then you have a response. An emotional response or a normal response to a claim that I haven't made. So if I make a claim, you respond to it, and it had nothing to do with my claim. You're now arguing with a straw man. And that's exactly what football fans are doing. I was on a show, and I want to shout out to everyone on the show because they are all belter. Lee Gunner, I want to shout out to Saeed. I want to shout out to LB. Save, who I done my first show with yesterday. He's a proper gentleman, by the way, a proper cool dude. And all these other dudes. If you watch the show on Saeed's channel, you will see how it was 5 against 1 because they were making straw man arguments and they wasn't necessarily... I don't think they were trying to not listen to what I was saying. I think they just didn't grasp what I was saying because they constantly made the thing, well, how come it happens to other teams and whatnot? And we will get into the news and the statements and the updates. And Howard Webb has came out and said that he's going to release the audio on VAR, but I've got to speak about this. This is a passionate thing for me. Because one thing I've realised over this incident is that football fans are intellectually... it's one of these two things. Either they are intellectually dishonest, or two, they are just so shameless that they don't want to admit or hear the argument that Liverpool fans are putting forward. Because the only argument that's being made by rival fans, and this is through the show that I was on yesterday with Lee Gunner and stuff. Lee was saying it, LB was saying it. You know, there's no possibility of corruption. It was just a human error. They're definitively saying it was just human error and that there's no chance or any possibility that that was something maybe a little bit more. Now, I don't want to make the claim of corruption, but there's a possibility that 6 mistakes in a game in the space of 60 minutes, about 6 or 7 mistakes that the referee had made in the favour of Tottenham, does imply to me that it's more likely, based on probability, that the referee might have wanted to influence the game going a certain way above the probability of it being human error. Human error is 1 mistake, 2 mistakes. 6 mistakes in favour of one team is wild. Now, this is where people will say, well, James, what about the handball in the Champions League final? What about X? What about Y? Oh, the other week Arsenal had a problem and we never made a big deal of it. The problem is that we've made a statement that people are upset about. Oh, Liverpool, why are you making statements when it happens to every single team? That is exactly like saying, okay, then, because you bend over in the shower, you're now just expecting me to come and bend over in the shower with you. I don't want to be in those showers with you, my guy. I'm very, very happy to have my freedom, as I know I can have, and I'm going to make a claim to the officer. By the way, they're all getting bummed in the showers. I don't want to participate in this. Now, these guys are simply saying, well, James, because we all get fucked, you've got to get fucked as well. Then I'll respond by saying, well, actually, no, I don't want to be a bitch. I don't want to be a bitch like you guys. Sit back, not analyse that I can actually have a say and an input on this. And also that this doesn't just affect me, but affects everybody. Now, let's analyse what Liverpool wanted out of that statement. They wanted an investigation, therefore meaning, was there anything more behind the decisions that was made against Liverpool than just human error? Because the likelihood of 6 mistakes in the space of 60 minutes is more than the chance, or the probability of that being corruption is significantly higher than that just being human error. Now, people will say, James, you're going too far. The conspiracy theories are too much. I'm going to tune out. I can't do this no more. So now you're ruling out the possibility of corruption. Now, the first sentence that I'm going to make and the first claim I'm going to make, where there is money, chat say it with me, where there is money, there is corruption. That is the matter of the fact, whether your auntie's called Tony or whether she's called John. The matter of the fact is that what, in my opinion, I can only speak from me, where there is money, there tends to be corruption on one level or another. So for me, I'm going to sit there and tell you guys, how about this? If we want information whether it be audio, whether it be statements from the referees, I think that's more than fine to ask for. We've now just missed out on a game where we probably deserved a point. We definitely deserved at least 2 goals, because the guarantee isn't that Diaz would have scored, the game would have went the same way. The guarantee is, and what we know for a fact, is that we scored 2 goals. Now, Spurs also scored 2 goals. Well, actually, technically, Matip got them a goal. But what I'm saying is we know with the information that we're being provided with that Tottenham didn't score more goals than us legally, and also the things of not sending the lines to Sky Sports, the suppression of the information and the details around the Diaz goal, that was bad. And then the things that haven't been addressed, the red cards, the other decisions, it's an accumulation of a couple of bad refereeing performances against us this season. Now, that does not mean I'm making a Liverpool claim. Liverpool are making the claim that this game specifically was bad. We want to investigate it, which they have the right to do. Just because your team might have not done that in the past when your team's been shafted by referees does not mean we don't have the right to do it as well. That's what Liverpool are doing with this statement. Now, PGMOL have responded. Now, that's what I want to get into in the duration of this stream. And I do shout out to everyone who's tuned in. I would love it if you could smash a like and subscribe. I want to flow with the information. I want you guys to fully understand what is going on. All the things that we need to look into when it comes to this situation specifically. Is it corrupt, or what's the probability? Because you can never 100% prove anything, chat. You can't 100% prove that you're just having a bad dream right now. Can't 100% prove it. You can't prove that this is real life, as you could be just having a bad dream. But you can provide evidence. Well, James, I'm going to pinch you. Yeah, that doesn't feel like a dream, does it? So now you've just provided me evidence we're not in a dream. The same way PGMOL do have an obligation to provide evidence that they are not doing anything more than just human error. And if it's human error, then we need to increase the training standards. That's the claims that we're going into. That's the investigations that are being made. And let's be honest, if they're not doing anything wrong, then why suppress the information? Why suppress the information if you're not doing anything wrong? Just because Arsenal got shafted and didn't ask for anything. Just because other teams have got shafted and didn't ask for anything. Well, now we're asking for something. And hopefully, if you haven't done anything wrong and if you have got integrity, hopefully you're going to release that information to us. So the first thing I want to do is show you this tweet. I quote tweeted it. Please do smash a like on the video while I'm just sharing my screen with you beautiful people right now. I am going to get into the comments as well. We've got 200 people in the stream. First thing that I want to share with you is this. So PGMOL are considering, this was yesterday, are considering their next move after receiving a formal request from Liverpool to release the audio conversation between match officials leading to Luis Diaz's goal. Because what Liverpool want to analyse and understand is the premise of why that was given. They want to understand, was it human error? If it was human error, what made a human error? Who was the person in the dressing room, in the VAR room, or who was the person on the pitch that had the most influence on this decision being called what it was? And how did not one of them say, by the way, that's a goal? That's important information. That's why it'd be good to see the audio. Liverpool are well within their right to go in there. And listen, if Liverpool were being moaning bastards, I'd be the first one to call it out. But I don't think just because everyone's being quiet, we should stay quiet as well. You always have to find the black sheep, if you will, amongst all of the other ones. So that's what we're trying to be. PGMOL keen to release audio between VAR and referee of disallowed goal of Luis Diaz. Once its review has gone to Liverpool, Howard Webb's monthly mic'd up show will air the audio, but PGMOL not ruling out releasing the audio before good. Fans deserve to hear what on earth went on, and that is bang on. We do deserve to hear what went on. Now, I also want to ask the question, why so late? How come we're hearing it next week? How come we don't just hear it now? Surely they can pick up the audio very, very quick. If you can accumulate a bunch of highlights from the game, put them together and put it on your YouTube channel, I'm sure that you can very much get the audio, put it together and release it out into the world. You don't need to do no fancy editing. You can use the thing where it's just got the line and the squigglies, and then next thing you know, we can use our ears that God gave us, thank you Christ, to listen to the non-corruption that we shouldn't hear. Because if there's nothing wrong, then there's nothing to worry about. So why are we waiting for the audio? Doesn't take that long to retrieve information. That's one thing. Now, I was also responding to some very dumb tweets. Dumb tweets such as this from Football Short. There is a very clear undertone of these VAR discussions that Liverpool wanted to make clear that mistakes against them are more important than mistakes against anyone else because they believe they're more important than everyone else. Now, this is an example of a straw man argument. You've got this gentleman or woman or thing, Football Shorts, Making the claim that Liverpool are saying that Liverpool or that we are the only ones who shouldn't have mistakes done towards us. And we think that everyone else is fine. They can have mistakes done towards them. We don't towards us. Guess what? Guess why Liverpool don't care if mistakes happen against Arsenal? Guess why Liverpool don't care why mistakes happen against Brentford? The premise is, the reason why, if there's a mistake between Arsenal and Brentford, Liverpool have zero fucking association with either one. It is not for FSG to worry about Arsenal shit. It is not for FSG to worry about the other one. It's not for Jurgen to speak on Mikel Arteta. It's not for Jurgen to speak on Thomas Frank. Use your brain cells, and you're arguing with a straw man because the club haven't made the claim that we're more important than anyone else. But yes, we are going to hold you responsible, as we don't want this happening again in future. And for you to soften up, because chat, people aren't sorry until they get caught. Let me just say it again. People are not sorry until they get caught. When I was younger and I had the cake that I shouldn't have had, and then Mama Redmond came in and backhanded me and then open palmed my face, I was very, very sorry. Now, I was not sorry for the fact that my hunger senses took over and I went and got a cake. I was very sorry for the fact that I got caught. And what led me to say sorry was the open palm smack in my jaw from Mama Redmond. It was not nice. Deserved, but not nice. That's all we're asking for. Give us the answers. Give us understanding. And for fans like these, don't argue with strawmans. Don't argue with a strawman. Because the club haven't made that claim. But we are saying we want to hold you accountable because you've been caught. Now it's important that you don't get caught in future. And by asking for things like audio, and if we become the first team, or, you know, I'm sure audio's been released before. I'm not going to say we're the first team to make a stance. But let's say we do this, and then Arsenal do this, and then United do this when they get shafted, and then Chelsea do this when they get shafted. And let's say City aren't being corrupt and they're not paying referees, which is a possibility. Barcelona have paid people before. If you think that City couldn't pay people, Chelsea couldn't pay people, Levy couldn't pay anyone, FSG couldn't pay anyone, you are deluded. You live in a fantasy world that doesn't exist. It's your world. It's not reality. Reality and your world and your perception are two different things. Your perception is not reality. This guy is making an argument based off his reality. Liverpool haven't made the claim that we're more important than anyone else. We're not just making a statement about mistakes and mistakes against us. We're talking about the game that involves us. It's not our job to worry about Arsenal or Brentford. If you guys are pussies and don't want to go to the FA because you're worried about fines, legal trouble, potential consequences in the future, fine. But FSG and Liverpool and Klopp and everyone involved at the club feel like they've got a leg to stand on when it comes to releasing this information. It's very plain and simple. Very, very plain and simple. Let me change that. Let me change the camera angle. Chat, do you hear what I'm saying, WRL, or am I just rambling? Because on yesterday's stream, I felt like I was just rambling. I felt like it weren't really getting through to anyone. Darren England and Dan Cook have both been dropped for next week's round of Premier League fixtures. These are just a series of tweets that I retweeted and tried to bookmark so I could, kind of get all the points I wanted to on stream. New information as of 11 p.m. Last night. Senior figures at PGMOL, MOL disagree over whether the audio should be released in the aftermath of the error which cost Liverpool a goal on Saturday. That's according to Matt Hughes and Lewis Steele. Why are you disagreeing over releasing the audio if there's nothing to hide? This is another piece of information that, although now we know they are agreeing to release the audio, this was last night. Why was you even contemplating not releasing it? Now, maybe they were just being stubborn pricks and were like, we don't need to give them that. We've got nothing to hide, but we don't need to give them that. But it's not a good stance when the whole situation with Sky weren't good and a whole bunch of light got shines on you. And then you've got people even making the claim like, oh, the Liverpool media merchant, blah, 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 blah. If you think that Arsenal don't have PR, if you think Man United don't have PR, if you think Chelsea don't have PR, you guys are crazy. You guys are crazy. And it's you making it a Liverpool agenda. We're not even making it a Liverpool agenda. We never said once, okay, if mistakes happen to us, that's the only bad thing. If it happens to other teams, nah. But no, we're not going to see a mistake happen in an Arsenal game that happens against Arsenal and make that claim for them. We've got our own shit to worry about. But we did see this game where two of our players got sent off rather unfairly. We saw Mohamed Salah get a yellow card rather unfairly. Other players on our team getting yellow cards rather unfairly. Seeing Tottenham players dive and not getting repercussion for it. Now we have a problem. Because we've got to question the integrity of this refereeing performance. And it weren't just the referee. It was multiple guys, 5 guys, who all agreed on a decision that the rest of the country, including Man United fans, Arsenal fans, and rival fans, saying this was beyond a joke. This was one of the worst refereeing performances of all time. It's not just like one of those things where it was one mistake and it was a subjective mistake. Now we need to talk about the difference of subjectivity and objectivity. The red cards, you can say they're subjective, but the objective reality is that was a goal. The Diaz goal was a goal. There was dives, that was dives. But tackles and stuff can be subjective. The objective reality is that was a goal and you still failed. All 5 of you. We have a right to question. And now we're hearing that PGMOL are disagreeing over whether or not the audio should have been released. Thankfully, Howard Webb came to his senses. This is a piece of information that we'll say for in a bit. It's regarding Cody Gakpo and his injury and stuff like that. This is also something I want to comment on when it comes to Tottenham's left-back, Destiny Udogie, receiving racial hate, which is an absolute disgrace. All Liverpool fans, football fans who claim to be fans of the sport, you guys are the ones who hide behind your little phones, going at players like him. Now, listen, even though he dived throughout the game and all these things, you do not resort to putting yourself as low on a pedestal as commenting on someone's Instagram, monkey emojis and stuff like that. That's got to be talked about, chat. Got to be talked about. It's a disgrace that there's football fans from every club in this country who feels it's acceptable to do this. National fans will do it to their own national players, and rival fans will do it to rival teams. I don't care if he dived. If you want to call him a diver, call him a diver. Happens to Mo Salah, Bruno, and all these. If you want to be constructive on maybe he's a shithouse, call him a shithouse. Do not, and I repeat, do not ever resort to racism. And this is a Twitter problem, an Instagram problem that need to regulate this better on these platforms. Simple as that. But anyway, let me fast forward to some of the latest news in terms of what's the new update. Oh yeah, also this was a statement that was made by PGMOL. The first bit was PGMOL would like to thank Liverpool Football Club for their recent statement regarding the offside decision made at Tottenham Hotspur. Whenever a decision is incorrect, emotions can run high and things can be said that are later regretted. With this in mind, although we fully stand behind our initial apology, PGMOL wishes to state on record that the offside image being shared online is incorrect. So they're saying that this is an incorrect image. The correct image taken at the point of the ball was played clearly shows the decision to be much closer than the previously indicated. So they're saying, even though we got it wrong, it's actually fine because it was a lot closer than what the first angle is originally saying. So I punched you in the face, but it's fine because I didn't punch you in the face that hard, is essentially what I've just read. We trust that the release of this image may help Liverpool Football Club come to terms with its loss. And what the fucking cheeky bastards, aren't they? Whilst we in no way wish to minimise their understandable pain, may provide a healing balm. Fuck off. Like the line in the photo, PGMOL wishes to simply move forward. So please forget about our mistake. We've apologised. That should be it. No, you deserve a belt, mate. We would also like to take the opportunity to thank Daniel Levy for his uplifting WhatsApp messages at a time the football community has rocked. His giggles have really cheered us. Finally, PGMOL would like to put it on the record our wishes for tears to be tried. Oh, wait, is this a troll? Is this a troll? Tears to be dried and hearts mended. Nah, that's got to be a troll. I've just got trolled. That's a troll. That's not even an official statement. Why did someone send me this saying that this was an official statement? Oh, I didn't even realise it, chat. I was thinking that was a bit of a weird statement. Nah, that's a joke. I got trolled, chat. I got trolled. That was just a little side thing that I saw anyway. That's not even crucial information. Oh, my days, as if I never even clocked. That is unbelievable. Yeah, Josh has posted it on his Twitter, all the actual information. Should have stuck to his page. What as the audio came out? Okay, so this is the latest update on it. Liverpool are now in possession of the audio tapes and will take time to review before deciding on their next steps with a range of options on the table. That's good that we've already got the tapes as well. Still interested to why it was discussed in the first place and all these things. People are making claims as well that the audio could be edited and we need to be scared of that. Josh is very confident that won't be the case. Now, I agree. I think it's very hard to go past the millions of people with audio that is tampered with. I think that's a very impossible or near enough impossible thing to do nowadays. It'd just be very hard to get away with. So I do think what we're going to get is going to be the actual audio tape. But I am curious to all the things leading up to it. Chat, let me know what you all think in the comments down below. Big up to you, Rishi, sir. You were excellent on Saeed TV. You took on those guests with balanced arguments. You were defending football as a whole, which is the point. Exactly. It is for the greater good of the majority of teams by holding these referees accountable. And the guys were trying to make the claim. Lee made a very, in my opinion, ridiculous argument. He said, well, James, you're saying, oh, no, he said, James, okay, find me a solution to get 100% of the decisions right in football. Because his leg to stand on was that, well, oh, don't worry, James, football's always got it wrong. So this, that, and the other. And I never made that claim. I never asked. He was asking me to make a claim for something I never asked for. I never asked for 100% of the decisions to be right. That is impossible, especially when you include the subjectivity of football. But then there's objective decisions. And in that game, objectively, they got a lot of things wrong. That's what I was trying to explain to Lee. And now we need to find improvements, not just for Liverpool, because the technology that I'm asking for, the accountability that I'm asking for, isn't just for Liverpool, but would be a premise that other teams can stand on and say, well, Liverpool's done this. Well, now we want the same accountability to be held in the decisions that you've made against us. That was the argument that wasn't being comprehended on Saeed's stream. They were taking the argument like, oh, because it's happened to Liverpool, it's a bad thing. Oh, you weren't complaining about VAR when it happened to Tottenham and it happened to this. No, because this is a different game, a different fixture, a different date. And this was objective. It seems handballs and stuff like that, that can be subjective. Did he mean it? Did he not? Was the foul meant? Was it not? Those are different. But the objective reality is that in this case, that was an onside goal. Know what I'm saying? I can't believe I got to by that friggin' fake statement. That really annoyed me. But that's pretty much the update regarding all that stuff, chat, and let's see what you are all saying in the comments down below. People just can't look past their own tribalism. That's facts. I mean, they always try and make it an argument about, oh, it's your team, it's your team. No, this is a Premier League issue with Premier League. And when you consider the riches of the Premier League, you'd like to hope that we get a bit more of an accurate representation on our authoritative front foot, and that is the referees. Those are the guys who are dictating our seasons. And if they did have anything that, say someone slipped them a note behind the scenes, which we've saw in other leagues, this has been confirmed to have happened, well, that's a bad thing. And where there's money, there's corruption. So don't think that it's the Premier League wanting to corrupt Liverpool. No. Did the referees want to corrupt Liverpool? I don't know either, but we that's what we need to look into. That's what the audio's for. That's why we're not looking to see if it's in a Liverpool agenda, but now we're asking for more accountability, which is not but beneficial for everybody in the Premier League. Worst thing is he was clear onside, like it wasn't even close. It's ridiculous. But that's the thing. Offsides are not a subjective thing. It is objective. That's why they said and made it more clear, okay, now you can't just be offside by like a toenail. Now it's got to be like a full goal scoring body part that's clearly offside to the technology. Also, all Premier League clubs denied the improved technology that was used in the World Cup, which would fend off the offside problem, which was strange because that was the club's decision to do that, not the Premier League, I believe. So, yeah, but Liverpool do need to show action. I agree with Martin here. I think that's important. Get your comments in as well, chat. Get your opinions in. I'm reading them out now. People saying that Liverpool should move on because humans make mistakes and VAR is crap. It's always been crap. It is still crap. That's just how it is. Get over it. How about we try to fix it? There we go. Now, it's not about just getting over it and forgetting it and letting them shaft us every game. That's not what it's about. That's not what you're saying. You're saying, how about we find solutions? How about we hold more accountability? How about we ask the referees for audios? How about we ask the referees to speak out themselves on why they made this decision? Because I am sure in future they will take more consideration than just a little still image to send off Curtis Jones and then a non-check on a goal that was clearly onside or not enough check. Why did the Saudi League use the 3D tech for VAR, not their Premier League? It's a very interesting thing. All I know is the Premier League clubs denied that further technology in the summer, which I think is fucking wild. Refs would never cheat. Look at La Liga. This is my problem. I just don't like it. I had LB. LB's a lovely City fan and whatnot, but he just did what every City fan does. He just said, oh, mate, just because we're City, you just have a problem with us. I was like, I never even made a claim about City. I never even made the claim that City are the ones who are doing this or whatever. I haven't made the claim that City are cheaters, but that's what he thought. My claim the whole time was that there's evidence in other leagues, other top leagues where there's been money clubs, trying to get the referees to influence the game. If you think that's completely out of the realm of possibility in the Premier League, you're crazy. And if people don't understand there's things of like NDAs, people in council estates sign NDAs. And if you don't know the problem that comes along, if you talk about something that you signed an NDA for, you do not know the world. And if you don't think that there's ex-referees who have gone in this game, Premier League, La Liga, all different countries, and have had to sign NDAs since their retirement because of the fucking corrupt shit that's happened, then that's fair. And then people will say to me, well, James, you shouldn't watch football if it's corrupt. No, because it's corrupt on one person's level. If the referee is being corrupt, he's the one who's making it a corrupt game, not the players. I'm not thinking that Klopp and Tuchel and all these people, I don't know why I said Tuchel, Klopp and the players are all agreeing, okay, this is going to be 2-1 to Tottenham today. Joel, don't forget your cue. I believe that the referees can influence a game one way or the other, and that's what the 6 mistakes in 60 minutes told me against Tottenham. That was one example of many examples. Liverpool fans aren't making the claim that we're the only team this has happened to, but we are making the claim that this was a really, really bad example, and we're done with this shit. Why aren't we better? We've got VAR. We've got this supposed new thing. How come we're even getting objective facts wrong? How come we're not even looking into it? And the probability of that being human error by 5 human beings, I think that is much less likely than the possibility of that being corrupt or that being some sort of, someone not doing their job clearly. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like if you worked in a bank and you sent someone's money to someone else. It's like, no, I don't care if that was just an error. You have now fucked up massively, and you must have done a lot of things to fuck up. Listen more. Proud Liverpool fan from South Africa. Just a message to my fellow Reds. Please, people, don't make yourselves guilty of racism. We are Liverpool. We are better than that. That is right. That is right. And listen, at the end of the day, we're always going to get bots on Instagram talking this, that, and the other to players, racism. It's not condoned, but we need improvements from the social media platforms. Unfortunately, it's not Liverpool's football club's responsibility as the association to worry about these fans who are racist. Yes, you can identify them online and shun them from that and block them from the social media pages, or at least expose them for who they are so they can get dealt with, respectably and in the correct manner by, with the police. But that's very difficult to do. And that's why we need to talk about Instagram, Twitter, and these platforms policing those issues a little bit more. But it's a tough one, you know what I mean? It shouldn't be right, but that's why we need to all agree on a societal basis that those comments are not right. And that's the fundamental premise, I agree. A Don called Zlatan, Hamez, about what Lee Clowner. Oh, he's not Lee Clowner. He's sound. Lee Gunner's fine. Just because the ref has always gotten things wrong, it does not mean we should not take mitigating measures. Basically, what Lee was saying, just because we've always had mistakes means we don't need improvement. But I think he thought, I can only think of this conclusion, he probably thought I was making the claim that I want 100% of the decisions correct, when no, I never said that. I just said I wanted improvement. But he misconstrued it then, and he was like, well, mate, there's never 100%. But we can still ask for improvement, no? Isn't that what the purpose of VAR was? And unless you can provide me evidence that VAR has been an improvement to the level that it should be by now, then great. But I don't think VAR, even though it might have got a few more decisions right, I don't think VAR has even, has significantly improved the game all round. I think it's left more room for corruption. I think that's what VAR is. I think it's more opportunity to sway games in one way or another. And that's why it would be good for me to be proven wrong by audios and by more information and by the words of the referees, which is heavily suppressed for years and years and years. I saw an interview in from 2004 of a referee coming out after, I think it was a Newcastle game, and he came out and said, I made this mistake, this, that, and the other. And it was great. It was refreshing. He was a shit referee, apparently, but it was still good to hear him come out and take accountability. And you'd see a lot less mistakes, probably, if he would take accountability. But we also need to work on the rules and regulations. We also need to enhance the technology. We're the richest league in the world, and we need to improve it. It's as simple as that. Need to shout out to Jamie Phillips Football Chat. Before I read out his super chat, do smash a like. And also, guys, a brief one. YouTube have been limiting my YouTube monetization, so I've been trying to lower down the swearing and stuff like that. But that just simply means the channel isn't making as much money. So I actually do really want to thank everyone who sends us super chats, being members and stuff like that. That's what's funding the channel at the moment, because when YouTube limit the adverts that are watched on the shows, you get nowhere when it comes to making money off ads specifically. So those who do donate to the channel, I can't thank you more than enough. If City won on the weekend, DIAZ would have been onside. Changed my mind. It felt from the 30th minute that just something was really, really fishy about that game. And that's the thing. I have not got enough evidence to say Pep Guardiola and the owners of Man City slipped in a note to the VAR team on the day, or Levy done it, or whoever. But to disprove or to rule out the possibility of that possibly happening, whether it be Pep, whether it be someone from Man City, whether it be someone from Spurs, whether it be someone from Man United, I don't know. But whether it be any of those teams, whether it be someone in the Premier League, whether it be someone who has a big bet, I don't know. But to rule out the possibility of corruption, to me, is very naive and very dumb. And I'd suggest if you don't think football is corrupt at all, then that's a lovely worldview to have, but an incorrect one based on evidence, not proof. Evidence. Evidence suggests where there's money, there's corruption. And the evidence also suggests that this has happened in football multiple times. And because of the things like NDAs, referees of old aren't going to come out and speak about it, because there's a lot of problems when you speak publicly about something that you've agreed contractually to not speak about. So that's also important. Jamie, I can't change your mind, but I'm not going to lie. LB was making you out to be crazy. What's crazy is people are naive enough to think the biggest, richest sport in the world doesn't have corruption. Crazy to me. Crazy to me. I agree with you. I agree. I could go down a whole friggin' wishing well of conspiracies and the way the world works and whatnot. And football is definitely a part of it. They use football the way they look at the Roman circus. If you know the reference that I'm using, fair play. If not, just let it go over your head. It's not that important. But it kind of is, though, because the Roman circus is how do you keep everyone entertained and how do you keep everyone talking about about all these things except the main issues. So when the people start getting reckless, the Roman circus then improves and brings a big event forward to the people. And that's what, football kind of is. And because a lot of money is made through football. We've heard of things like sports washing and things like this, and you don't think that that football and the Premier League isn't adhering to big businesses that don't directly correlate to the Premier League itself. You are naive, and I was surprised by not LB because I don't know LB, I don't know his worldview, but I was surprised by Lee Gunner because I know that he understands this aspect. He knows that where there's money, there's corruption, and yet he was making the claim like just because we get bent over and shafted means that you should as well. And I was like, no. Just because you get bent over and shafted does not mean I need to join you in those showers. It's a very simple premise. George Maurer, big up to you. You do look like you need another backhand for eating cake, lads. I'm not going to lie to you. Me ma fucking leathered me. It was one of those things I was thinking, sorry, Mama Redmond. You know what I mean? Sorry, Samantha. And then she was like, who are you calling, Samantha? James, it's not even a conspiracy. Fergie intimidated the officials for years. Now, here's the thing. There's influencing games, and then there's directly match-fixing games. Like, for instance, there was the accusations on Barcelona paying referees. Then there was good information that came out that implied Barcelona was paying referees. That is corruption. If you want to use psychological aspects on referees to maybe make them, be a bit more in your favor, that's fine. That's not corruption. That's psychological warfare with referees. How do we get you to be on our side? Because if you fuck up, we want you to be scared. Because what's the best way to get somebody to save you? Make them scared. So Sir Alex Ferguson was actually onto something. I wouldn't even say that was corrupt unless there was a transaction made or there was an incentive for the referee or whoever was managing that game to be involved in it. Like, you've got to analyze the incentive. Got to. But sometimes the information's suppressed, so you can't even get to the conclusion. Honestly, dwelling on this, expecting anything other than an apology is not going to do us any good. The one positive is the acknowledgement of our fighter spirit and that any team would struggle with us. That's right. The point that we're making, Liverpool haven't asked for a replay. We haven't asked for a point from the game. We haven't asked for any of those things. What we are asking for is why are we getting fined? Why are our players getting fined? Our managers getting fined? And the club as a whole getting fined from speaking about things that you're apologising for? So we've made the claim. Yeah, McAllister had the joke with Romero, who's an international teammate, saying you had 12 men on the pitch. But by the way, he was just using speech. And then now he's under investigation from the PGMOL to say, oh, by the way, you were too far. Okay, then, so when the referees were speaking amongst each other, were they doing something wrong? It's a double standard, chat, is what I'm saying to you. McAllister is well within his right to be agitated about something that even PGMOL agreed was a mistake. They apologised for it immediately. McAllister speaking on that. Oh, but because you're speaking on it, McAllister, we've got a problem. Now we're going to fine you. It's very expensive to speak out against them, and that's where the problem lies, chat. That's where the problem absolutely lies. Lisa, big up to you. Labelling things as a conspiracy theory is the corruptor's way of belittling and discrediting the alternate view. I love you, Lisa. That's a great way to put it. And it's true, chat. Conspiracy theorist was a word made by friggin' the MIA or something like that back in the 60s and whatnot for critical thinkers. The original way of conspiracy theory was for critical thinkers. So if we go outside the possibility of corruption, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, you're accusing corruption. You are a conspiracy theorist. How dare you? How dare you? That's what LB was sounding like yesterday. Oh, mate, you lose all credibility when you start saying conspiracies. I think you lose your credibility the second you rule out the possibility of corruption in football. I think that's done. Literally the highest financial profitable sport in Europe, and you're saying that it's not possible of corruption. Come on. Over the last few years, we have gotten many other bad decisions that nicked a few points here and there, always favouring the title race in City's favour. Hey, listen, the Rodri handball was a factor, and there was loads of decisions that season that didn't go our way. And listen, that's just the way football is. But wherever the corruption's coming from, I do think the Premier League has shown enough evidence that it's corrupt, just in my opinion. Now, the players have still got to do everything they can to work around that. That's the way we win trophies. That's the way we win football matches. I'm sure our owners aren't willing to really bend the rules, maybe the way certain other owners may be willing to bend the rules. But this is all speculation and accusation. The evidence is somewhere, somehow, there is probably a little bit of a corrupt element behind this game. And it's not crazy to think that. It could get proven wrong, but it doesn't mean that it's crazy to think that's a possibility. That's ridiculous. Big up to everyone. James going down the rabbit hole. I'm like trying to clean around the rabbit hole and not go too far into it, not get into any specific details. He should ask for a pint. You should ask for a pint. You should ask for the point. They have admitted that DIAZ goal should have stood, so the final score would be 2-2 there. Nah, can't do that. Go down a very slippery slope when you start changing score lines of the game. I've never saw that happen. But I would like to see an improvement in future. That would be enough of an apology to me. The decisions are that bad, you can't help ask the question about corruption. Facts, 100%, Adam. Space Monkey says releasing the audio will hopefully prevent it from happening at all. Well, we've just got to see what was said and what was led to that decision being made. That's what needs to be analysed. Football is very corrupt. Sissoko handball in Champions League final was the most corrupt decision ever. Are you talking about the one that went there? Because that was technically a handball according to the rules, to be fair, bud. So definitely not the most corrupt decision. There was an incident with Chelsea, I think, in 2012 or 2011 against Barcelona. That was really, really bad. That's not a good example to use for the worst corrupt decisions ever. Because Spurs fans talk about like that game was proper in our favour, and it really weren't. There were so many decisions going for Spurs that day. The difference was you just couldn't put it in the back of the net. It's a tough one, you know what I mean? Facts hurt. But we've never made the claim that it's just Liverpool. We agreed that decisions have gone in our favour. But this performance was 6 decisions in the space of 60 minutes. You've got to imply something beyond that. You know what I mean? And we're the only one with bollocks to have made a stand. It's the same with the elites rigging the system, so it's near impossible for us to reach the top. That's it. They just suppress information. And then when you agree to it, so like when you agree to... Sorry, I was going to say put masks on. I won't go too far down that rabbit hole. But like, it's all about compliance. And it's like, if you don't want the information to be known, then they just kind of think that you deserve it. You know what I mean? Even the United States government has admitted that an unidentified aerial phenomenon exists. Do you think that the refs City are on payroll? Possibly. It's a possibility, but I've got no evidence that supports it. But it's a possibility. Why does everyone clamp up when conspiracy is ever mentioned? I think it's programming. I just think people are programmed to like sort of react to certain words and like, wait there, you're going against everything I've ever believed in. It's a very normal reaction for people to kind of head twist when they hear that word. James, have you noticed there is only one team that gets no dodgy calls from officials or VAR? No. Have you noticed there's only one team that gets no dodgy calls? If you're implying City, I definitely see a lot less of it for City. A lot of decisions do go in their favour. They do. Even if we take away the pen, we still scored one fair goal while they didn't, so we won and they didn't. Yeah, I understand the logic. I understand the copium. Just doesn't. We don't have a leg to stand on in a court of law when it comes to that stuff. You know what I mean? But chat, the information so far is that Liverpool have got the audio recordings. They've got them, so that's factual. They've got them. It's in our possession. Now it's just about seeing what was on the audio call. Also, there's rumours that on Howard Webb's Mic'd Up show, he's going to release the audio on that as well. The only way to consistency to consistently maintain officiating accountability is for post-match interviews of referees, similar to what was done in 2004. Apologies and voice recordings do nothing for anyone. They don't do nothing, but it allows us to see what this game was. Was there something beyond than just a human error, or was it a human error? And if it was a human error, what is the training, or who are you employing to, and what system are you putting them through to teach them to be referees, to where they're making 6 human errors in 60 minutes at a Premier League level? Tell me how that's possible. Likelihood is that's not possible. You know what I mean? Likelihood is Lionel Messi would not miss 6 open goals. Could he miss 6 open goals? Yes. But if he missed 6 open goals, we've got a question to ask. Same way that a Premier League level referee needs to be asked questions when he's made 6 headers in the space of an hour. It's crazy. Since they have agreed that Luis Diaz's goal is inside, then I guess they should split the point and give one to Liverpool and one to Tottenham. Again, you go down a very slippery slope when you stop doing that. We need to mitigate and limit the decisions that are made, not necessarily change the outcome of this game. That wouldn't really, I don't think that's overly productive. It'd be fun, it'd be banter, but yeah, I don't think that'd work. Liverpool are embarrassing the amount of VAR decisions that have gone in your favour in the past, and you're still crying now because of one bad decision is beyond embarrassing. Now, Gus, the Red Devils TV, is an example of somebody who is arguing with a straw man. Now, he won't know what a straw man is based on chances, but he's arguing with someone that isn't me, chat, and it's not you. So this gentleman has decided to come in this stream and in a stupid way, a very dumb way, put a comment that correlates to absolutely nobody here, and quite clearly hasn't watched the previous 35 minutes of the show. So how about this, dumbass? How about we explain a little bit about what you've just said? Liverpool fans are embarrassing the amount of VAR decisions that have gone in your favour. How about the decisions that have gone in your favour? So you're saying you've never complained about VAR, because based on your standards and your premise, you can never complain about VAR because you're just being a moaning bastard. Man United have had loads of things favour them in VAR before. Plenty of things, countless. Manchester United, Manchester United, if I say so. So if you're going to be consistent, you can never complain about VAR. If you're going to maintain consistency in your statement, even if you get shafted in a game, you can't complain about it. Oh, and by the way, if anyone ever steals an item off you, you can't report it. You can't report it. Can't. Why? Because some people don't report it. That's why. You've got to stay in the shower bent over, pretty much is what I'm saying to you, Gus. You know what I mean? You just might have to. I just ask for education. I ask for intelligence. That's all I ask for, Gus. You guys ain't getting the points or a rematch, so stop already. So, Gus, here's why you're arguing with a straw man. And here's why you're intellectually inept. Because you clearly haven't got a grasp on words, which is fine. So let me try and say this simply. Okay. Nobody has said that. I'm not asking for points, and the club haven't asked for points. You're the one who's arguing with a straw man. Now, just so you understand what a straw man argument is, because I don't think Gus does, but Gus, even though you're a bell end, we're going to get you some education prior to the end of this stream. So, straw man argument. So, this is what we're going to do right now, because you're getting aggy over things that doesn't exist. You're getting aggy about things that don't exist, like a dumb fuck. So, we are dumb fuck. Let's help you out. Let's assist you in your time of need with education. A straw man argument is constructed by presenting an opposing position as a warped, extreme version of itself. By doing this, the arguer attempts to make their opponent look ridiculous and or make their position seem like the only rational option. You, my friends, have got no rationality behind what you're saying. None. Stop arguing with a straw man. You're not arguing with my points. Go back on Twitter and argue with faceless bots. You are pointless right now. You guys ain't getting a rematch, you lot not being honest. You're not being intellectually honest. When did I ask for a rematch? When did I ask for a point? But I can ask for recordings. I can get to the bottom of it. But if you want to keep being a bitch and letting referees slap you about game in, game out, you go for it, Gus. You go for it, my guy. So now that we've cooked Gus, we can move on. He's shadow boxing demons that don't exist. He fully is, but that's what like Lee, LB, and all those were doing on Saeed's show yesterday. They were all arguing with somebody that didn't exist, or they were arguing with multiple people at once. How dare Liverpool make a statement because Liverpool fans are saying such and such? Oh, Liverpool fans want this. How dare Liverpool make a statement? Liverpool Football Club and Tom on Twitter, who so happens to support Liverpool, and no, we're not talking about Little, are two different things. Tom's opinion doesn't matter. Liverpool's statement absolutely matters. I'm not just defending my team because I'm trying to be shameless. I'm not trying to drag this over. I don't want to talk about Michael fucking Howard. What's his name? Howard Webb. I don't care about that dude. I don't care about VAR. I like football. But then I will also defend my team when people are making stupid, illogical arguments all over Twitter and all over the main footballing sites. Like Gary Neville, what a stupid idiot. Like the guy came out literally a day after supporting it all, trying to defend it. Forgot that where he was getting his wages from. You know what I mean? Like, are you dumb, high or dumb? It's one or the other. Have you been smoking what Gus is on? Know what I mean? I do also want to pull this up as well because this was a dumb tweet from a Newcastle fan. We're exposing dumb Newcastle fans now. I love Newcastle fans, mate. You know what I mean? They're rough as fuck, just like Scousers. But Sav Mondo, you are a dumb person. You're a boy or girl, dumb person. Sure, you're a lovely person, but you're not educated on football. If Liverpool want to overturn a score affected by VAR, then I am fully behind them. I think we should right the wrongdoings in all past games, starting with getting our point back from this game, which incorrectly overran by a few minutes, which affected the result. So clearly, the problem that Sav has here is that game was given 8 minutes of added time. 5 minutes of added time. But what does that mean? It's not maximum 5 minutes of added time. It is minimum of 5 minutes added time. Now, we scored our goal in the 98th minute. Throughout the 5 minutes of the added time, the minimum added time that was given by the referees. And now you've got to understand what the word minimum means, Sav, and Newcastle fans. The thing is, when you time waste, which Newcastle was doing regularly in that game, which was 12 months ago when Fabio Carvalho scored, that then built up on the minimum time. What is minimum? The minimum is we are not going to have any additional time below 5 minutes, but we could go beyond it because it's the minimum. It's not maximum amount of time, it's minimum amount of time. So let's be smarter, let's be more logical, and stop being salty just because we beat you and you couldn't do what Spurs done, even when you had the referee on your side the other week. I just asked for intelligence. I asked for education. This was a dumb tweet. Chat, can we all agree? Can we all agree that this was a stupid tweet? Can we all agree? Because that's what I'm here to do. I was trying to do it on the streams yesterday with Lee Gunner and that, but it just seems like nobody wants to listen. And maybe it's the accent. Maybe people think I'm just trying to be biased. Not the case. Not the case at all. And I'll discuss with anybody on this topic because you don't have a leg to stand on legally. When it comes to saying what Liverpool have done right and what Liverpool have done wrong. Big up to D-Wog. He says, having the issue come to light will help all teams in the long run. This is the point I've been trying to make. I don't know why people think this is just for Liverpool. And that's why Gus is stupid. That's why Sav, that girl, she's stupid. And that's why, even though I don't think Lee's stupid, I don't think they'll be stupid. I think they made stupid arguments yesterday. I think they were very illogical, ill-fallible arguments. I just don't think it made any sense at all. And they were arguing with people that wasn't me, which I also didn't appreciate. But I was making the point that it's going to benefit everybody if we hold these referees more accountable. And no, I'm not asking for 100% of the decisions right. Big up to Rishi. I think the issue there has been poor argument from Liverpool fans. I think you should be representing us in future panels. Yeah, bro, that's the thing. We are football fans. We're not meant to know the legalities and every single story and every single step of everything. But if I do this for a living and people are making the claim that Liverpool were dumb for making a statement and we're pathetic and we're making it all about us. No, maybe John on Twitter, who so happens to support Liverpool, might be doing that. But Liverpool Football Club, the brands, have not tried or attempted to do that. At least there's been no evidence that implies it. So again, you are arguing a battle that does not exist. People are being dumb. So that's a great comment. Big up to you, Rishi, as well. Thank you for the multiple super chats here. Fundamentally, football is about legally putting the ball in the opposition net more times than them. Nothing supersedes that. Not being able to correct the error once the game restarts is not nonsense. Not being able to correct the error once the game restarts is nonsense. I hear what you're saying, Lisa. I hear what you're saying. Big up to Jamie. By the way, guys, go subscribe to Jamie. He's got a great channel. That does great work. United fans chatting, but there's only the team. But they're the only team I've seen to get a penalty after the game had finished. That's the thing. Like, people are trying to say, like, oh, just because it happened. But But we don't need to fall into their traps. I don't need to fall into the argument with Gus or with Saeed yesterday on his channel and say to them like, oh, but it happens to your team, so blah, 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 blah. We don't need to do that. The fundamental thing is VAR needs improving. There's other things that need to be improved, because now that we're getting objective decisions wrong, let's understand the difference between objective and subjective. Subjective was Curtis Jones a red card? That's a subjective opinion. If you think it was bad, fine. I think the lead up and the procedure to find out if that was a red card could have been better. I don't think you should have just showed them a slow, stilled image. I think you should have showed them a full-paced image, which could have aligned with the opinion he originally had before looking at the screen, and he was influenced by the people in his ear. It's very, very simple. And then Sky also made a weird little claim as well about how VAR had it as allowed, but then that doesn't make sense or line up with anything either. So they've been lying about stuff. They've been suppressing information, but they've released the audio, and that's what we're going to wait and see. I can't wait to listen to them myself. No, James, you're just trying to suit your narrative. So you don't care about the rest of us. You just... No, you're right. I don't care about Manchester United. I don't care about Arsenal. But again, you've shown another example through your comment of where you cannot listen, which is fine. But I'll try and break it down even further for you simply and briefly. So you don't care about the rest of... You're right. I could not give a fuck about you. In fact, if you got relegated, I'd celebrate. So I suppose I cared a little bit, but don't care enough. What I'm saying is that what we're doing by making the referees hold more accountability, by releasing information and having to make statements on this, the more accountability should hopefully in turn lead to less mistakes on a wide variety. So Liverpool aren't the only one with a big fan base. Man United do as well. If something was to happen like this to you guys, now you know. Based on what Liverpool done, we can make an uproar and we can get something done about this. And hopefully, because listen, the last thing that businesses want is stress. You don't want to be having millions of fans across the world saying, you're shit, you're this, even though they have that anyway. You don't want to have it to a point where people are thinking corruption. That's a problem. That's where people don't buy into the product. That's where sponsorships now start to pull out. That's where money is not being made when there's the element of corruption. So you've got to try and suppress that. And that's why we've been asking for information, because to have 6 human errors in the space of 60 minutes from a top-level trained referee in the Premier League is a joke. And the probability of that is that it weren't just human errors. It was probably maybe something beyond. And that's why we want the audio recordings. And us getting that audio recordings means we're getting more information behind the strategy of what the referees are doing. And therefore, your team can do the same. Therefore, your team can do the same. So, no, I don't care about your team at all, Gus. I really, really don't. But again, your arguments are logical. That is what I'm saying about Liverpool fans. Biased to the core. Had that happened to you players, you wouldn't be saying that. Again, it's not you're not quite grasping the fact that I don't need to worry about Man United. I don't need to worry about Arsenal. But Liverpool, as a business, need to worry about Liverpool. But you're just a dumb guy, so I'm going to start responding to your comments because you can't compute anything. Anyway, big up to everyone who tunes into the stream. Massive shout out. I try and speak to these people, chat, but they just don't have the capabilities to listen at all. Yeah, let's give him one more chance. Let's see if he's received any education. Guys, you keep saying I'm seeking attention. It's mad hard. It's called interacting with the host. It's called interacting with the host, but then it's not an honest conversation because you're not making any points and you're not doing anything. You're not saying anything of substance. So we appreciate your time, Gus. I hope you have a good day, La. No problems with you. You're just not educated. That's fine. Big up to everyone else, though. Smash a like, subscribe if you enjoy the content. We're going to be doing more content throughout the day. I'm going to be live with Toby. Toby Tottenham. You know what I mean? Tapping Tobes and that at 5 o'clock on his channel. So do tune in. Anyway, guys, much love to you and your mothers. Big shout out to everyone who super chatted as well. Massive support. And I will see you guys later. Mashed potato. JP.